Hey guys, this is me, KO, repping Arsenal transfers and analysis. And today this will be a review of the Newcastle away match, which Arsenal won 1-0 thanks to an own goal by the Newcastle captain Colaccini. And looking at the game overall, looking at the scoreline firstly, it looked like it was a tight game. When all instances it was not. It was a one-sided game as they come. Literally it was 75% possession to Arsenal against a 10-man team. We had them locked in their half the whole game, and literally Petr just got a book out, sat like this, started reading because he had nothing to do. I mean, literally I could have got a 2-year-old kid to stand in goals and they probably kept a clean sheet, because no disrespect to Newcastle, but they had no threat at all in the game, partly due to the fact that their star striker Mitrovic, their record signing for this summer basically, he got sent off quite early on. And starting off with that was, as an Arsenal fan, obviously you look at it, it was very late, it was dangerous from Coquelin. However, I do feel it was a bit harsh, but you look at the general trend of the game, the referee did give quite a lot of cards out. He gave a lot of yellow cards to Newcastle, gave one to Arsenal, and it seemed that the referee didn't really have control of the game as such. The game was slightly running out of hand. There was a lot of little niggly fouls going on left, right and centre, and it wasn't really a game for the purists, as you say, because it was like a drill of attacking against defence. Arsenal were drilling them into their half, around the penalty area especially. They were content to sit back and just defend. And I think in this game, at 11 against 11, Walker and now Wideman, like Chamberlain, Sancho, will have much more of the ball, much more like enjoyment, especially because they'll have more space. I felt that as soon as we went down 10 men early on during the game, Newcastle were like, alright then lads, it's 0-0, let's just sit back now and take the 0-0 even though we're at home. And I felt at that moment especially, Juve would have been a much better option to start the game, but obviously you could not predict this kind of stuff. And Newcastle were like, we defended well against Man United last week, we can try and do that again, but thank God we got our breakthrough. Looking at the stats though, 21 shots, and the only goal we scored was an own goal. I mean, even in the last two home games, combined 39 shots on goal, but no goals. And it's clear to everyone there, Walker missed an absolutely glorious chance in the first half, of tapping it over the bar. Jude missed a very good chance at the end of the game. One-on-one goalkeeper tries that immaculate chip and he flops. And it's just looking at our attack, and it's lacking conviction, lacking bite. We just seem to be passing the ball around the 18-yard box to get to the final third. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to pass, where to shoot, where to give a think through, or where to give a reverse ball. We don't know what to do. We run out of ideas, we run out of creativity. And this game, I think Ozil would have been loving this game. It would have been suited for him to pick out those balls. But also, no point having a guy like Ozil in the team, having Sanchez and all these players. There's no one to finish the job off, to tap it in, score the goals. And I think hopefully in the next 3 days or so, Wenger does go out and try and buy a new striker. Obviously in the post-match press conference, Wenger was his typical self. He was like, not giving anything away basically. And it's typical Wenger really, because he was like, we're not close to signing anyone, but we're not further away than before signing anyone. So it's basically like little mind games like that. I hope that we do sign someone, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't sign anyone, especially the way that Wenger operates. If he doesn't get his man that he wants, he will not just try and sign any Tom, Dick and Harry. He will just be like, alright, I'm happy with my options. Hopefully Welbeck and Wilshere come back as soon as possible, and we just get the job done. But looking at other players who really caught the eye today for us, Monreal was absolutely fantastic at left back. He was controlling the left, he was running up and down, doing his defensive duties very well, not messing about. And again, I want to touch on the two centre backs, Koscielny and Gabriel. I felt in the last game that if those two started together, it would be like, it's perfect, because they both have pace, they're both very similar, to complement each other, and it allows Arsenal to play a higher line. We saw today they were literally on the halfway line, and unlike with Mertesacker, where you have to be a bit more cautious with how far you press up the field, with Gabriel and Koscielny, even when they give a long through ball to one of the Newcastle players, you trust them to have the required pace to track back in time and stop the danger. And that happened time after time. Tried to counter-attack. Koscielny and Gabriel were there, playing up with Coquelin right in front of them. Those three had everything unlocked. And you could say that obviously 10 men weren't really challenging, but I felt that if we did have someone like a Mertesacker playing, or maybe someone like an Arteta playing instead of Coquelin, I think there was a much more enjoyment, on the counter attack. But we didn't see it today because the way we restricted those opportunities was great because of the players that we had in those positions. Because of Koshi and Gabriel having that pace and Coquelin playing like how Coquelin plays, like literally sniffing around, making tackles left, right, centre. And that was key to allowing Czech to have the security. And he's got another clean sheet now, 2 in a row, and hopefully that continues. In terms of other players, Ramsey had another indifferent game. I'm not really sure what's going on. Ramsey just seems like takes that extra touch on the ball that he doesn't need to take. And hopefully with international break now, he gets some of his form back with Wales and he comes back a better player. Hopefully we get Wilshere, Welbeck coming back. But in terms of performance, I'm just happy to get the result. We've seen a lot of, dodgy results today. Chelsea obviously lost at home to Crystal Palace. West Ham beat Liverpool at Anfield for the first time in 53 years. So again, I think this season, I want to touch on something which I've noticed, especially with the new money now in the Premier League. 4 or 5 years back, we didn't see players like Payet and Cabaye playing for mid-table teams such as Crystal Palace and West Ham respectively. However, now we are seeing this. I think with the money now in the Premier League, the clubs around like in the mid-table-ish, and even teams below them have the money now to splash £10 million on the player, to pay the big wages for players, and attracting. Obviously, it's good for the Premier League, good for competition to attract these top players, but also it's giving teams basically better players to compete against the top teams. So now you can never say any game is a banker. You can never say Arsenal versus Watford, for example, will be an easy win, because there are now no easy games. Mourinho, even though I hate him, he has touched on this, and I think he is correct in saying this now, that the title, probably win the title with like 80, 82 points, especially this season, because of how tight it is. And I think at this moment in time, Man City are running away with the title, and hopefully Arsenal do build some form after the international break. And I think hopefully we do sign some players. But again, I want to touch on that. I think the teams around us now, especially mid-table, are becoming much more stronger, especially on the counter-attack. So now they're content, especially away from home, to just sit back and counter-attack against teams much more effectively than in previous season, which is why this season we have seen many home teams losing at home, because of the fact that the teams that they're playing against can easily and effectively counter-attack. And that is something which is quite interesting to see how far that goes on during the season. Obviously, this is early times. You can't really make such bold predictions. But you never know, in 15, 20 games in the season, we'll see how the table shapes up like. And hopefully we see Arsenal near the top. That's it. That's my last review basically for a match until 2 weeks later. I might do a couple of videos after the transfer window ends. But thanks guys for all your support thus far. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you're new. Take care guys, and peace.